How to make a solarpunk story. Before we go about making a solarpunk story, it is best to first define what solarpunk is. Punk as a suffix can be used to describe a counterculture movement or set of ideals. Other more well-known punk movements, for example, are classic punk, cyberpunk, and steampunk. Even in these definitions, solarpunk occupies a unique space because, unlike the previous three, solarpunk is based upon the idea of a better, more optimistic view of the future, rather than a corrupt or apocalyptic one. Before we start making our story, the first thing we need to explore is the world it takes place in. In a solarpunk story, one of the guiding principles is the use of clean, sustainable energy and coexistence with nature. Research the kinds of energy you want your world to use and keep in mind the environment you want to have. Remember, especially with today's advancements in technology, clean energy doesn't have to mean bulky or unappealing. Even something simple as solar panels can be both practical and beautiful. The same goes for things like plastic, polystyrene, silicone, and other non-biodegradable materials. Look into possible replacements for these that are eco-friendly, such as algae water bottles or recycled containers. And finally, don't forget about your world in context to those who live in it. What are the most common forms of travel? What is it like for people with disabilities to live in your world? These are all important questions that can vastly change the look of your world. Now that we have a world, it is time to create your cast. Solarpunk is a movement that embraces diversity in all forms. The types of characters you can create is limited only by your imagination. The last step in making a solarpunk story is to decide the plot and what the central conflict will be. These can be sorted into three categories: person versus person versus environment, and person versus self. Person versus person, the most common type of conflict, in which a protagonist is paired against an antagonist, and the story centers around the conflict between the two. In the context of solarpunk, examples of this could be the plotting of an antagonist to destroy or pollute nature, or a competition for who can best perform a task. Person versus environment, a story in which the protagonist is in conflict with the forces of nature and must adapt or triumph against whatever phenomenon is occurring. In the context of solarpunk, examples of this could be winds abruptly stopping in an area known for its turbines, natural disasters like floods or tornadoes, or the colonization of a new area. Person versus self, a story in which the protagonist must confront themselves about a decision or action. In the context of solarpunk, examples of this could be uncertainty of where a person fits in with a society or battling against personal demons. Congratulations, now you've made a solarpunk story. But remember, solarpunk as a genre is still in its infancy, and this is only a brief summary of its main points. Do your own research and help shape and decide what solarpunk means to you.